What's up, boys and girls? I'm Plant Powers, and this is Elsinore, a game published and developed by Golden Glitch. This is a point-and-click adventure game set in the world of Shakespeare's Hamlet. Man, this sounds already so interesting. So we're gonna be playing as Ophelia. This is a point-and-click adventure game that is set in this living world where the story plays out in real time. We're stuck in this time loop, so every 4 days time resets and we gain another chance to change the fate of Elsinore Castle's inhabitants. So if you're not familiar with Hamlet, I'm just gonna briefly summarize it very briefly. I've never seen the play or read the play itself, and I only know that so there's this prince called Hamlet, and his dad is killed by his uncle named Claudius, and Hamlet is visited by his ghost's father that tells him to seek revenge for his death by his uncle. Right, so it's a very weird story, and at the end, like most of the characters end up dying, and so this is what we have to change in this game. So we're stuck in here for 4 days and we're trying to save as much people as we can. I'm not really sure, I haven't played this yet. I've only read the Steam's summary of the game, and it looks so interesting and I can't wait to play this game. I hope you guys are ready to dive in this world with me. Right, let's start this up. Start Prologue. Ophelia, there you are, love. This is Polonius. Polonius, I think, is the current king's or Prince Hamlet's uncle named Claudius, and Polonius is his advisor, I think. And as usual, don't even give me so much as a hello, father. Hello, father. And Ophelia, it's his daughter, obviously. That's better. And what are you doing all the way out here? I wanted to be alone a while. It's quiet here.
I see.
Avoiding me more like. Well, I've a small favor to ask of you. Your brother's in the throne room, visiting the king about his voyage, but his majesty tends to run over long. Won't you fetch Laertes for me? Tell him he's tardy. As usual, his trunks are sitting in his chambers, open and empty. At this rate, he'll go to Paris with nothing but the clothes on his back. Oh. That would come as no surprise to either of us. Of course not. Much as I try, I cannot help but think how terribly I'll miss him. And with all that's going on here in Denmark, war brewing and such, I think my hair has gotten a little whiter even as we stand here. The nerves are taking quite a toll on me. Father, I'll go and have a stroll. Breathe. I'll fetch Laertes.
My thanks.
This is why you're my favorite daughter. Only daughter. And that as well. Alright. Not sure if I can keep doing his voice of... or not, but right, here we go. Ophelia acquires the information, father's request. Ophelia learns more about Find Laertes. The entry will be updated in the journal. Ophelia learns more about Ophelia and Polonius. Their character bias will be updated in the journal. This is your journal, try open it now. Okay. Your leads have documents, actions you've completed in the past, as well as hints about some mysterious you might uncover. So we have to find Laertes. My father is worried about Laertes' upcoming trip and wants to talk about my brother before he goes. And of course, it falls on me to get him. Where on earth could he be? So we've met a few characters, just two. So, Ophelia, Lady of Denmark. So this is quite cool. It gives you like a bit of backstory on the characters. That's me. As a child of a duke, I have some small amount of standing, but as a daughter, I can inherit nothing. I've lived here at the castle all my life. Sometimes I dream about leaving, but where would I go? And what kind of life would I have? Everything I know about the world lies within Elsinore's walls. And Polonius, Chamberlain, Duke of Denmark, my father. Polonius is my father and the king's advisor. Yeah, so yeah, I was right about that. Okay. He can be a little addle-brained at times, and he loves to talk a lot, but he really just likes being around people, I think. He always means well, and he's been an attentive father to my brother Laertes and me, sometimes a little too attentive. It can be stifling. Alright. And we have hearsay as well. Your hearsay tab contains information you can share with the inhabitants of Elsinore Castle. We only have father's request. Father desires to speak with my brother Laertes before he leaves for Paris tomorrow. Okay. So this is our journal. We can pause the game as well. Yeah, obviously. Not anything new there. Who's Horatio? We can talk or never mind him. Let's talk. Share info? Laertes is trapped in a meeting, but my father wants to speak with him.
Horatio.
Laertes is trapped in a meeting, but my father wants to speak with him. Yeah. Ah, the good and fair lady Ophelia. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Enough with the poetry, Horatio, you flatterer. I was a poet in another life, you know. That was before I was a foot soldier, then a student. Now I'm... wait. A professional friend? That's not bad life. You've been many things at many times. My apologies for the wallowing. You asked about your brother. Court's being held in the Great Hall, I believe. Oh, I suppose you're right. Head there, and I'm certain you'll be able to tear him away. You know, back in Florence, there is no sense of lateness. Men arrive precisely when they mean to, and meals are 6 hours long. I'd be much slower and larger if that were the case here. Yes, bless Denmark. You Danes are always hurrying somewhere. Alright, Horatio now believes that Polonius urgently needs to speak with Laertes. Ophelia learns more about Horatio. The character pie will be updated. Okay, so as we talk to the other characters and as we share information with them, they learn more about everyone as well. That's very cool. Alright, so Polonius is there. There's Marcellus here. Irma, Lady Brit, Laertes, King Claudius, Queen Gertrudes, Bernardo, and Hamlet, the prince. Alright, okay. Wow, this is a lot to take in. Alright, let's talk to... Shall we share this information with him? I'm not sure. We already learned that... Alright, hold on. I used to play here as a girl. Now, though, with all these heavy skirts, better steer clear. That my brother is in the Great Hall. I'm not sure how to get there. Oh, through here. Okay. So this leads to the kitchen. This leads to the Great Hall. Lady Brit, Irma. Okay, let's go straight to it. What's going on here? So Hamlet is here. Laertes as well. Shall we just speak to him, or...? Yeah, why not?
Laertes.
Psst. Have you spoken to father today? He's in a fit.
What?
Ah, right. I'd completely forgotten. My mind's on Paris already. Hamlet and I both are waiting for an audience with the king, but it's dragging on. Won't you speak to the Queen, Ophelia? She's fond of you. She can move this meeting along. Alright, Laertes now believes that Polonius urgently needs... Okay, so he now knows this too. Sweet. Bernardo is busy. Queen Gertrude is there. Shall I listen to the event? Better give me the report again, Bernardo. Okay. So the story starts as in the play. The King Claudius already murdered Hamlet's father. Shall we just speak to her? Let's go. My lady, my father wishes to speak with Laertes as soon as possible.
My queen.
Not sure if interrupting that was wrong, but
No.
we'll see. Oh no. Have we run over long? I'm sure Polonius is in an absolute fit. Give me a moment. I'll whisper in my husband's ear. Alright, cool. So...
My lord.
My lord, I tire of this, and besides, I believe young Laertes must meet his father beckon. My wife is right. We've had enough of political affairs for now. Today is a day for celebration, after all. Young Prince Fortinbras grows beyond his leash. We ought to engage not with him, but with his uncle, the true King of Norway. Bernardo, have Voltimand deliver a message to the king without terms.
I once, my lord.
Now then,
Now then, Laertes, Hamlet, please come forward. I've been given word that the both of you wish to have my formal permission to leave Denmark.
My king.
I want to travel to Paris tomorrow morning that I might learn about the breadth of life's offerings beyond Danish walls. And I want to return to Wittenberg because I agree, these Danish walls are absolutely miserable. I have some concerns about each of you. You are yet young men. Laertes, what does your father say? He is worried, my king, but grants his blessing. Then I must concede. Hamlet, on the other hand,
absolutely not.
your mother, the queen and I would prefer you near her to us, Hamlet. You may not go back to Germany. What? The funeral for my brother is 2 months past. And yet you still wear black. I wear mourning attire while I still mourn my father.
Hamlet.
The time for that has passed. You ought to think of me as your father now. Your father, the king. Nothing has changed. For your own health, I desire that you stay in Denmark. That's your wish, uncle.
It's pointless.
As is customary, I have no choice. I never do.
Excellent.
All is settled, and with that, let us break a little while. Court is dismissed. Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
Of course.
You are most welcome, Laertes. Swift travels, my boy.
Ophelia.
Oof. Whenever you're done here, come meet me outside. I've something I want to tell you before I meet with my father. Father. Alright, so Hamlet is staying. Hamlet now wants to avoid King Claudius. Hamlet now wants to avoid King Gertrude. Hamlet now believes that Hamlet is staying in this is kind of weird. Hamlet now believes that Hamlet is staying in Denmark. Okay. Ophelia learns more about Hamlet and Bernardo. The character bios will be updated in the journal. Okay, so let me just... Alright, let's listen to this just for a second.
Hamlet.
The boy is determined to hate me. He cannot yet understand what lies beyond the veil of youth, dearest.
Son.
Hamlet is... There is such a darkness within it. I fear it may fester if we allow him to leave us. And what form that festering might take, I fear more.
My dear.
You've done right by him, I promise. Ophelia learns more about King Claudius, Lady Brit, Irma, and Marcellus. Their character bios will be updated in a journal. Alright, let's listen to this as well. The queen looks busy. Let us hold back.
Please.
Maybe you should hold back, but I'm her lady in waiting of House Brockenhus. You can see me whenever I like. Huh. You think your family name gives you power here? A beautiful face, but an ugly soul. That's all you are.
Spare me.
And you're an old hag who needs to find a hobby outside the queen's personal life. I bathed the queen and wet nursed her when she was not more than the size of these two hands. She is like my own flesh and blood, and I'll watch over her until the minute you bury me. Mark my words, Lady Brit.
Fool.
No lady in waiting or beautiful silken dress can replace that bond. We'll see, hag. Alright, so there's a few rivalries going on here as well. Let me listen to these two, Marcellus and Bernardo. What have ye told the king? Nothing yet, naturally. All we can do is wait on Hamlet's words. Until then, we can merely wait and watch and hope it doesn't return. Ugh. Alright. Oh, there's another event here going on. Let's listen to it.
Please.
Hamlet. If I could only dissolve, if it were only that easy to die. God, would you spite me even then? You would, wouldn't you?
This is hell.
Even though you've brought me nothing but misery in this flat, weary world. And this castle is like an overgrown garden. How I despise it.
Hamlet?
Be at peace. Look at it this way. We'll drink to your health tonight. I and the rest of the guards will drink ourselves silly. How does that sound?
Mother.
Father gave her anything, everything. I've never seen a love like it. I've never loved like it. And all too soon my father's dead, and she's marrying my uncle less than a month later.
Disgusting.
She had hardly gone from shedding tears to sharing his bed. She had to move on, Hamlet. She is the queen. She could not afford the grief. And your uncle is a suitable match. Oh, shut up, Horatio. Frailty and women are one and the same. Come on, Hamlet. Get up off the floor now. Let's get you to bed, shall we? Alright, I think I've listened to everything we have here. No, there's another event here. I'm not sure if I'm wasting my time listening to all of these, but...
Hamlet.
Oh, it's the same event, okay.
My son.
Alright.
My dear.
Alright. Let's go to the courtyard. Something might... Okay.
My thanks.
That meeting. We've been there an hour. You've freed me. Eternally grateful. I sensed you needed rescuing, even though I know you've been waiting for a return to ordinary affairs. Refreshing, no? After the dark cloud that's descended on Elsinore lately. The last few months certainly have been odd. Agreed. What was it you wanted to discuss then? You know, Ophelia, I'm going to miss you. And you, brother.
Hamlet.
You and Prince Hamlet, you're not anymore. Hamlet and I weren't together anymore, Laertes. I swear it on Mother's grave. Has he given you any trouble? No, he's far more focused on glaring daggers at his uncle's Claudius. How long has it been since his father's funeral? A month? 2? And yet he scarcely seems to have recovered. King Hamlet could do no wrong in his son's eyes, I'm certain. No doubt Hamlet's grief has been overwhelming as of late. And Hamlet hates his uncle for marrying his mother. I see the way he looks at him, his eyes. Like a kicked dog, angry, fuming, unpredictable. It is both proper and customary that Gertrude married her husband's brother after her husband's death. I have no idea why Hamlet is in a fit about it. He has me worried he might take out his anger upon you. Laertes, you needn't throw shoes anymore. Throw shoes? You remember when we were small, that one summer when the Baroness and her children came to visit Elsinore? You mean those horrible little boys who pushed you down? Yes, and when one of them pulled my hair and said it looked odd. Ah, right, I'd forgotten. I threw my boot at him. And you've been doing it ever since.
Of course.
No one pushes my sister around. Well, unless it's me, of course. They won't. That's why I'm telling you, you can fend off. I can fend for myself now, I promise. I'm not that little girl anymore, and I'm not going to let anyone do harm to me. I suppose that's true, isn't it? You really have changed. I see something of mother in you. Now, she could be fierce like that. I likely won't see you before I leave tomorrow, but... Laertes! Excuse me. Ah, father.
My son.
My son, I believe you still have some things to attend to. Your ship leaves tomorrow morning after all. You have little time to dally. You're correct, as usual. I've packed nothing at all until the very eve of my departure. Better throw a few of my best doublets in a trunk and call it a night.
Farewell.
Please get some sleep. You'll need it. I heard what your brother told you about Prince Hamlet.
Careful.
He's right. Prince Hamlet's poison to a young woman like you. And besides that, he's going to inherit the crown someday. It's a delicate situation, that one. I know you've loved him once. I'm your father. I see these things. I know I ought to not to be around him anymore.
Ophelia.
For another young... Oh, sorry. Forgot to do his voice. For another young, noble woman, things might be different. But not so for you. These matters become more difficult for you and Laertes. I'm well aware, father. We both are. But I am no scullery maid. I will not be forced to shrink from him. No, I wouldn't dream of asking that. I merely desire your safety.
Yes, father.
Of course, I understand, father.
Sleep now, love.
Our girl, sweet dreams. It's late. I really ought to sleep. Ophelia learns more about get some rest. The entry will be updated in the journal. This is your map. You can use it to see when the events are happening around the castle. Try clicking on it now. Okay. You can also use the map to quickly reach rooms or characters. Try clicking on your bedroom. So, Ophelia's chambers, Polonius, and Hamlet's chambers. Gertrude's, Claudius, the landing, lower garden. Okay. Let's click on that. Go to Ophelia's chambers. Yes. Oh, and she just goes there. Oh, this is quite cool. Alright, so here we are at my chambers. There's a table, Peculiar Tales, Volume 4, my desk. On occasion I like to write here. It's been a while since I had the time though. Okay, what's this table? This is where I'd seat visitors for a chat. That is, if father ever allowed me to have any. Okay. Let's see these Peculiar Tales. Ah, I borrowed this from the gallery some time ago. Alright, let's read this then. May Eve. I remember Celeste rode in the front. She was the head of the May parade, wearing a long white dress with a blue ribbon around her waist and flowers braided into her hair. No one had ever seen a May Queen half so pretty, they said. A trail of wagons tied together proceeded down the only street in town, and there she sat at the very front, skirts trailing beneath her legs, which dangled off the wagon's hedge. Her feet were bare and pale and clean. Her eyes a blue to match her sash, and even I had to admit she was beautiful. I watched her go by from just outside Mum's cottage. She turned to smile at me and called out, "Anna, come dance with us." She extended her arms towards me, the bells tied to her wrists tinkling faintly. We had been best friends after all. But the boys who walked at her side jeered at me. "Ugly little bitch," one of them screeched. Another tossed a stone, brown-toothed, slack-jawed, scruffed-haired nothing. One of them came after me with a stick, and as though he meant to break it over my back. Tears filling my eyes, I retreated into the woods, far away from the raucous sounds of the May Day parade. Everything here was dark and silent. The trees stretched like fingers overhead, and for a moment I forgot myself in that darkness. I knew not where I went, but walked with my eyes locked upon the mossy ground. There was no path, I needed none. All humans know when they have truly become lost. So I had. It was nearly midnight now, though it had been noon when I left my mother's threshold. A full moon lit my path, casting twinning shadows on the forest floor. At last I came upon a still lake, and there I prayed to the spirit of spring herself, that great goddess whose image all May Queens were created in. "Make me beautiful like Celeste," I cried. "Make me worthy of being the May Queen too." The waters parted, a single wave lapped the surface, and then slowly the mare climbed out of the water's depths, one hoof at a time. It was a white mare, drenched through, and it shook its head wildly, flicking drops of water from its mane. Surely this must be the goddess herself, manifested in mortal form. Mane was braided, just as Celeste's had been, but with moss weeds, not flowers. The mare stood before me, its golden eyes fixed upon me. At last it said, with no mouth that could move, but with a voice all the same, "Child of man, have you come to seek my aid?" "I have," I said quietly. "I want to be beautiful as Celeste." It bowed its great head to me and nuzzled my hand. It touched it tenderly, breath on my fingers, and flooded with sudden relief that my prayer had been answered. It pressed my face into its mane and sobbed. "Cry not, child of man," it told me. "Come into my dark waters and be reborn as a goddess in your own right. Merely climb on my back, and we'll descend together. You shall be May Queen yet." I wrapped its mane around my fingers and pulled myself up to her back with all my might, swinging one leg over her sinewy sides. Together we began to descend into the water. I felt the cold bite of it weighing down my skirts, my shoes. And before I knew it, the water was up to my chest. It was then I peered beneath the surface and my heart leapt into my chest. The mare was not mare, but a rotted, hulking thing, its flesh stripped in pieces from its corpse and fluttering in the water's current. The wet stink of death came upon me, and I gagged. I reached for the only thing I could grab, a branch overhanging the pond, and pulled with all my might. The creature ceased its descent beneath the water and turned upon me, its face little more than two shriveled eyes in a grinning skull. A name rose to my lips, a choked scream broke hoarse. Yes, the thing in the water hissed, its horse-like lips pulled back, revealing sharpened teeth. I tried to swim, but felt those teeth closing down upon my back. The moon grew small, high above the surface, fading from reach. The soft green of it all surrounded me. I sank down to the moss at the bottom. No, not moss, remains. And the last thing I saw was that sharp, grinning smile. You shall never be queen, it rasped, but your bones shall be beautiful indeed. Oh, that's such a terrifying story. What the hell? This is a bit weird. I read the resume. Hold on. It's certainly not a very uplifting tale. I wish the story didn't feel so terribly familiar somehow. Yeah, this is a bit weary because I've read the summary of Hamlet's play, and Ophelia dies because she drowns herself at one point in the play. So this is very terrifying, I'm sure, to her. Alright, so we need to sleep, I think, to pass the day, but before we do that, let's just investigate the bedroom more. My dresser, where some of my simpler garments are kept. I'm partial to a discount, though. Okay, so let me check the journal, and so it's been a long day and everyone's off to bed, I should go too, okay. So we've met a lot of characters, let's just go through all of them so we can get to know. This is a more introductory episode to the whole game, and everyone's in it. So let's start with Hamlet. Prince of Denmark, former paramour. Hamlet recently lost his father, the former king, who was also named Hamlet. He used to be very popular among those his age in Elsinore, with a much more cheerful disposition, but he's changed, and not for the better. And we have Gertrude, Queen Consort of Denmark, mother to Hamlet. The Queen is one of the kindest people I have ever met, and her people love her dearly. Gertrude isn't Danish, but married into the throne via her late husband, the King Hamlet. As is traditional, she remarried to the king's brother after his death. Now she is Claudius' wife. After my mother passed away when I was a child, Gertrude took Laertes and me under her wing. I've been eternally grateful to her for her kindness ever since. Gertrude was born in Austria and is a member of the illustrious Habsburg family. In fact, her father is the Emperor Maximilian I. She's worked incredibly hard to learn Danish and eliminate her accent. I know she has a sister as well, who lives outside Denmark. Royal blood runs thick through her veins. We have Claudius the king. Claudius is the reigning king of Denmark, as the younger brother to King Hamlet. When Hamlet passed away, he inherited the throne. It's hard to get rid on him. He's too formidable for most to talk to directly. He seems comfortable in his power, and wields it well, though many find him arrogant and repulsive. We've learned about Polonius, Laertes, Lord of Denmark, my brother. Laertes is my brother, set to inherit the title of Duke when my father passes. He's set to travel all of Paris, learning his music and experiencing the world. Meanwhile, I'm here. My brother means well, but sometimes he can be a little intense. He's quick to anger and even faster to act impulsively. Hamlet hates him half to death, but other than that, he's friends with nearly everyone in Elsinore. Okay, so we have Birgitta, Brit Brokenhus, lady in waiting to her highness. Brit is Gertrude's lady in waiting. I'm not sure what lady in waiting is. I think it's like a maid chamber, I think? A chambermaid? I'm not sure. She can be terribly cruel. We've never gotten along since she came to Elsinore 3 years ago. She is the daughter of one of the most powerful noble families in Denmark, and with most of the people here at Elsinore. Alright. Then we have Bernardo, Lord of Denmark, Night Guard Captain. Sir Bernardo is Claudius' right-hand man, and the most revered soldier in Elsinore. He doesn't say much, but he's been my friend since we were children. He earned his merits as a young soldier in the most recent war with Norway, riding into battle alongside King Hamlet himself. After that, he quickly rose through the ranks to prominence. And he's even gotten the king's utmost respect. We have Horatio, is Hamlet's schoolmate from Wittenberg. From the look of him, he can't be Danish, but I've never known his origin. He served as a soldier in the last war alongside Bernardo, and from the way he carries himself, he must be of noble birth. Though exactly how, I'm not sure. He's well educated and eloquent, and always has something interesting to say. Irma, Castle cook. Okay. Irma is one of the most feared women in Elsinore for her quick temper. She is fiercely devoted to the queen, and originally followed Gertrude from Bohemia, where she and Gertrude were both born and raised. Despite her teeth, I've seen that she has a warm side. She loves to gamble, and she is quite good. I wouldn't make a bet against her for all the world. And finally, you have Marcellus, Knight Guard of Elsinore. Marcellus has faithfully served Elsinore Castle for several generations of royalty, and is a passionate advocate of the throne. He is likely the oldest living man within its walls. He can be a little foggy at times, but years of practice with sword have rendered him more capable than he seems. Alright, cool. So we have more of hearsay as well. Hamlet is staying. Okay, the king denied Hamlet's request to return to Wittenberg. Okay. Alright, so a little bit more of backstory is that it doesn't tell us, not yet, but Hamlet was visited by his dead father's ghost that told him to seek revenge upon his death because Claudius had poisoned him. He put poison in his ear or something like that. It goes. Alright, so let's head to bed. Learn more about the backstory of the characters. Quite interesting, at least to me. I hope you guys are not bored by all this reading. I'd better rest a while. So little happened today, and yet my eyelids are already heavy. Maybe it's all the advice I received. Alright, cool. Oh, so there you go. See, that's the ghost. Ophelia drowning. Oh, this is everything that happens in the play. So everyone comes to like this demise and their death. It's very uncanny, very eerie, very sad play. And Ophelia just had a nightmare about it. What a strange and unnatural dream. Oh, Hamlet is here? That's very weird.
Hello?
Is someone there?
Ophelia!
Hamlet?
Is everything alright?
Oh.
His death, I've seen it with my own eyes, and the traitor is my own blood, and my mother, oh gods, my mother!
Worms!
Worms!
And wriggling earth!
All I can see is bile and rot everywhere.
Hamlet!
Stop for a moment. What in the world are you talking about? And why are you in my bedchamber? Sorry. Sorry. Wait! He looked so peculiar. Something's wrong. Ugh, my head feels strange. That dream seemed so real. So we acquired information what's wrong with Hamlet, acquired information tragic nightmare. Ophelia learns more about Prince Hamlet's madness. So yeah, Prince Hamlet is going slowly to grow mad, or so we think. Apparently at the beginning, open timeline. Oh. Hamlet's ravings interrupting my sleep. Oh, there's a timeline and everything? Cool. Let's see. Hamlet showed up in my room, raving incomprehensibly. He's been difficult before, but this is strange even for him. What could be causing him to act out like this? Okay. Shall we go visit him? So let's go to his chambers, I think he's there. So, go to Hamlet? Yes.
Ophelia.
Don't think I missed Hamlet leaving your room just now, Ophelia. Oh god.
Father.
What's wrong?
You mustn't.
Only last night we discussed this. Why did I see Hamlet coming out of your chambers? Did nothing I say stick with you? Were you deceiving me? I can explain. And he was half-clothed too. If only someone else had seen him dashing out like this. I shudder to think of it. I'm going to have to speak to the king about this. I cannot hide this from him, unless, I suppose, you can offer some explanation for this transgression.
Ophelia?
I'm sorry, father. I don't feel well. I had such an odd vision last night. A vision? A vision! No, never mind it. It's past now. I'll sleep better this evening, I think.
Be careful.
Be careful, love. That's all I ask. Carrying on like this, it terrifies me. I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want you hurt. Ophelia learns about a future event in which the king holds court about recent events. If it can happen in this world, it will happen on the timeline. Ophelia learns about an event in which the king holds court about recent events. Okay. So let's open the time lab. I mean, let me just disconnect my controller here because I'm playing with the mouse and I don't want the controls buttons to be popping out. Okay, so this is your timeline. Here you can see past events Ophelia knows about, and as well as future events which might occur. So this is a past event where you can see which characters attend the event and where. Okay, so this is quite cool. This is so cool. Alright, okay. Shall we click on it? Okay. Thursday, 6 a.m. in Ophelia's chambers, in which Hamlet's ravings interrupted my sleep, including Hamlet. Okay. Future events are marked in blue because Elsinore's state is constantly changing. There is no guarantee a future event will happen for certain. Thursday at 9:30 in the Great Hall, in which the king holds court about recent events, including Bernardo, King Claudius, and Polonius. Okay, so that's very interesting. Okay, so shall we go to Hamlet then? So see how the time is passing very quickly, so we must not dally along. Or not dawdle? What's the expression here? Let's listen to what they're saying. My lord, will you not even come to this morning's court? I don't think I can face him, not after what I heard last night. But if he then come, won't he be displeased? I fear your father well. He always kept a strong face in times like this. And so should you. Come, my lord, I'll accompany you. So be it, says Hamlet. Okay, can I talk to... No, wait, Hamlet! What's this nightmare? No, sorry, what's wrong with you? Hamlet, you seem to be in an unusually foul mood, even for you.
Hamlet,
Ophelia.
Leave me. What you saw was a mistake. I was ill and out of my mind, and I didn't see anything. No, of course I didn't. How could I have? How could it be real? Don't be ridiculous. I know you. This isn't normal for you.
Stop.
Just stop. Leave me alone. I need to think. I don't know anymore. Get away from me. I don't come back. The last time we fought, you were clear about holding no love in your heart for me. I'm trying to respect that with everything in me. I truly am. Ophelia acquires the information, the prince and me. Alright, so we had a past relationship. Nothing's happening right now. Sorry, but okay. So we just, stolen portrait? It's Hamlet's father, and his namesake, the late King Hamlet. Come to think of it, I noticed the blank space on the walls in the gallery. So they must have taken the, he must have taken the portrait and put it here. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause it here because the time is running by and I don't want to waste precious time. Then the Hamlet is clear. He's been visited by his dead father's ghost. That's why he's so upset. And since we know the story a little bit, we can conclude some things of the game. And yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break right here. Let me know what you guys think of the Let's Play so far, and if you think the game is worth playing. I'm quite into it. I quite love the whole time loopy games sort of gameplay mechanics. And I hope you guys learn, not learn, but love games like this as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say this one time, and that's to like this video if you enjoyed it and want to see more of it, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't so already, so you can continue to see more gameplay like this. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys are looking forward for more duties on this game in the future, as I am sure I am too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!